Alright, hey everybody, this is Riddler, and I'm here with a more technical, a more advanced any percent tutorial compared to the last one I made. So, basically what I'm going to be showing off is the same bow route, but with the harder and slightly faster strategies. And I'm going to be going over everything else that I went over in the first video as well. So, first thing to note is that I'm playing on the Japanese version of Link's Awakening DX. For 80%, it does not matter what version you're using in terms of 1.0, 1.1, or 1.2. But in this video, I'll be running version 1.0. Also, file names, it doesn't matter how long you name your file in this game, because the text box it'll have the same amount of text, so you can name it anything from 1 character to 5. But I'm going to be using this first file here for the sake of whenever I save and quit later, I won't have to move the cursor. So, with all that stuff in mind, let's go ahead and jump into the speedrun. So the first thing you'll want to focus on is your text mashing. You want to use both the A and B buttons. And the ultimate goal is that you don't touch, or you don't get the arrows that tell you to keep scrolling through the text box. So you saw I jumped out of the bed and walked diagonally down. You can talk to Turin from about midway through the table here. So if you walk down like this from here, you can talk to him and then hold down left into the doorway. And now is a good time to explain wall clipping. So, in this game, if you walk into the corner of a tile, here it'll be easier to explain walking up and down. If you walk into the corner of a tile, you can clip about 3 pixels into it. So if Bow Wow would get out of the way here, you can see if I walk right here in this corner, I'll push up against it, and you can see that Link is a few pixels into the fence right there. And you could do that as well right here. You can see that I'm kind of standing on the tree here. So wall clipping will be utilized later on, but for now it's just a small movement tech. But let's continue. We're going to go down to the beach. And the next thing I want to discuss is this ledge here. So when you drop off of a ledge in this game, if I were to be over here, I'm going to save a state. So if I'm standing to the right and I just hold down, it's going to put me back in the center whenever I fall down. So you can see it kind of relocated me there. But if you hold a direction whenever you're going off of a ledge, you will stay in your X position. So we can save a few frames that way. So if you hold down and right or down and left right here, you can actually skip being pushed into the center. But that is the only ledge we're going to use that on, because these ones we want to push us to the center to save a few frames walking to the right. Next, you're going to push these urchins. Also, try to wall clip on this wall right here. That way you don't have as much space to go whenever you push him. So let's do that again. We're just about here. This is enough, and also if I would have been 1 more pixel by the left, it would have been plenty for me to squeeze past. And then we're going to stand right on the shoreline. You could be a couple pixels up from where I am and a couple pixels down, as long as you're not standing in the water like this. So this will work, and like up here will work as well. But we're going to hold the shield and walk to the right. And you saw that I scooted forward during the dialogue box there. That's very important to hold right during the cutscene there. So now we're going to move through this dialogues. And then hold right and R right here. And you'll grab the sword with your shield hitbox. And from here, we're going to press A, B, start and select. And it's going to pull up the save and quit menu, and we're going to use the second option, and we're going to save and quit. Press the start button a bunch of times, and then we're back here. And our next goal is to steal the bow from the shop. And this movement right here, this movement that I'm doing, here I'm going to do this, is really important because it sets up a fast cycle on the shopkeeper inside. So keep in mind that you should try to be as consistent as possible with your movement and your menuing and everything so that this goes well, because you can lose anywhere between like 0.1 seconds and a full second from a bad cycle, and you can actually do something about it. It's not completely RNG. So we're gonna go in here, steal the shovel. We got a fast cycle. I'm gonna walk back inside. And here you're gonna wanna mash A as fast as you can, and that would set up a fast second cycle. Like that. Also keep in mind how I stood up above him for a little while. If you try to walk too fast, he will catch you when you try to run out the door, and if you stay up there too long, he will also catch you when you attempt to steal. So next, we're gonna head to the beach, We're gonna head down toward the beach again and get some kills for the Doghouse warp. We're gonna set a value in the memory that will send us to a glitch underworld that will get us to the boss room. So we're gonna equip the bow to the B button, and that's important because we need the sword on A for the boss fight later. And the reason we equip the bow now is because whenever we kill these Octoroks in a second, it's slightly faster to use the bow instead of charging your sword. And you have to equip the bow anyway, so it saves a little bit of time. So we're going to use that ledge exploit again. Shoot both of those Octoroks, and we're left with 18 arrows, and Dethl requires 16 to kill. So we're down 2 arrows from the easier strat, but you should be able to pull it off if you've practiced enough your Dethl fight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line up on the corner of this doghouse here, and we're going to wall clip, walk down, and hold down left, and it's going to send us to the glitched world. And from here, this is where things get really fun and interesting. We're going to hold down, and we're going to avoid this staircase, because if you walk in it, you'll drown, and that'll lose you time. So we're going to go down, around that staircase, and back up, and then this, if you stand on a wall, it'll push you upwards really fast. So we'll go up, and then up here on the right side. Me personally, there's a strat here. I'm going to try to do it right here, but I have to focus because I'm not even that great at it. But yeah, you can go up on that screen and go to here. This is where we're trying to get to. And if you line it up just right, you'll get pushed up really fast, really far. If you mess it up, you'll get shot back like that. But if you do well, you'll be able to walk straight up from here and not have to go to the right like I just did. I'm going to try it one more time, but like I said, it's probably the most difficult room in here. There we go. But you'll get up here. But if not, it doesn't waste too much time to go to the right when you get up to here. That was a little too far up. I apologize. But if you go up and to the right, it doesn't waste too much time to do that, and then you can just head up from here. And next, we're going to go upwards. I'm going to keep going upwards, and this screen gave me a lot of trouble, but I very recently found a consistent method of getting through here. You can soft lock if you're not careful on this screen. So if you walk, once you get to this little intersection looking thing, it'll push you upward like this. Then you're going to want to walk to the right onto that wall where it should push you up, and you're going to walk downwards, and once it pushes you, hold down left or down right, hold a diagonal, and you'll make it to the top screen every single time. And then you're up here, so let's do that again. Full speed, and I'll do it one more time to demonstrate. Down left. And then head up here and hold diagonals. If you are trying to enter that boss room, if you hold just right, it won't work. You have to hold down right, and you'll be sent to the boss room. So the next obstacle is this blob, and if you stand on a specific X or Y point, if you stand at a specific Y value, which you can set up by walking down on this wall right here, hold your sword out to the left or to the right. It doesn't actually matter, but if you're holding it to the right, you want to stand further this way. You can catch the blob on your sword, and it's actually partially RNG whether or not you will kill him or not. So this point in the run is kind of 50-50. You just stand here and you hope that he dies like this. But if not, it's just, you know, there's nothing you could have done about it. So with that out of the way, we move on to Ganon, which is probably the biggest bottleneck of RNG in the run. What you want is for him to send back these circular yellow or green balls. But now, the first two are always going to be fired back at him. But the second two are RNG. It's 50%. It's going to be a blue ball, which you can't deflect, and 50% you will be able to deflect. So from this point on, it's in RNGesus' hands. So there's one, and we have one more, and it could be either deflected or not. Okay, good. He shot a blue ball at me, which is good for demonstration. But yeah, that's completely RNG, and there's nothing you can do about that. And there's another one. I'm gonna load a state because I don't want to have low health later. So you can see this blob quick kill again. So there you can see it failed. And you can actually recover. Like say you're doing your first run, you can recover from that. And if I fail, I'll show you how. Okay. So you can kind of try to maneuver around him and get underneath him where he will land. And you can actually catch him that way as well. It is difficult, however, to do. So I'll try to do it here. But this is very like, yeah, there we go. This is very annoying. Yeah, and I got him there. Alright. So I'll save the state here. And then we'll look for either 0 or 1 will be fine with me. But I just want to have a decent amount of health. And spin slashing is good because the hitbox lasts a long time, so you don't have to worry about that ball hitting you. You can slash him facing forward, but it's not recommended. Also, you can lose up to like 1.5 seconds from Agonim's movement. If he moves far across the room, you can lose some time that way. Okay, so next we move on to Moldorm, and I'm just going to demonstrate it first before I explain it. Okay, so what just happened is I got in this general area. There's a spot right here. Hold on, let's see if I can pause the... Okay, that's bad. Here, hold on. So, this spot where my sword is, that general area, like a few pixels around that, should be good enough for catching Moldorm without getting yourself into trouble. It's not as precise as I'm trying to make it out to be, but just try to get your sword lined up in this general area and charge it. And then release whenever you see Moldorum's face, and then slash 16 times, and it should take care of him. So I'm going to do that one more time. Line up right around here. Release. Oh, I missed it. I was trying to talk and do it at the same time. Release. And I always do a couple extra slashes, because if you're too fast, they won't quite register. So next is Ganon. So let me make a good save state here. So you can hit him before he exactly spawns. I was a little bit early there. But line up to the right. And just charge and keep hitting him as many times as you can. That was bad. Again, it takes 12 hits to kill. Try your best to avoid the bats, but if you get hit by a few bats, it's fine. So that's 12, and then we have this phase, and he'll chase you around, but you can just kill him like that. Just make sure you make that hitbox come out in time. So now we have the hard part. So the movement in this section is the absolute most important thing to practice in this run. The goal that we have is to keep Dethl stuck to the top wall of the room. That way we can dodge him very easily when his arms swing around us. And also make sure you pay attention to your arrow count. If you miss 2 arrows, that means you can't miss anymore, and if you miss 3, then that means that the run is over. There's no way you can complete it, because Dethl takes 16 arrows to kill, as I said earlier. So what we're going to do is stand really close to where he spawns, and walk up as he moves backwards, and try to get about this close every time you walk back. And he'll stay up there on that wall. If you stay too low, he'll try to come down at you, and then he will follow you. So try not to let that happen. So stay close whenever you're safe from the arms. And just pay attention to how I'm doing this movement. And whenever we fire arrows at him, we want to try to hit 4 at a time. And see, I walked forward a little bit too early there, and I got hit. You can actually take damage intentionally, because his eye only does half of a heart, but his arms do 1 full heart, so be careful when you try to do that. There's some situations where you'll want to fire 4 arrows at him and run into his eye to make it to where you can actually hit him 4 times. And so just make sure each of your hands know what they're doing, and that one of them's that you have 2 sides of your brain working, kind of, where one is paying attention to the arm pattern and one is paying attention to his eye. And you will get runs where the RNG is like that and you won't open his eye anymore. That's just, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that either. So I'm going to focus a little bit more and try to demonstrate this fight, if the RNG will let me show it off. Alright, so as you saw, whenever I got further and further into the fight, as Dethl takes more damage, his arms start swinging in different speeds. So you kind of have to watch out for that whenever you're running back and forth, because, I mean, the pattern, at first, running back and forth is really easy. His arms are moving at the same speed. Everything's always like one set speed. But at this point, his arms will start swinging different speeds, and so they'll meet at different spots. So you'll have to stay further away for a longer amount of time, and it gets kind of dangerous. So as you saw there, his eye didn't open for an extra cycle at the beginning. That's the RNG part. His eye will stay closed sometimes, and you just kind of have to wait it out. If you're doing your first few runs, then it shouldn't be a big deal, but once you get down to the 440 range, you really want just a 4 cycles with 4 shots each time, and it'll be a pretty good run at that point. So from here, I'm gonna have to complete it again because I wasn't standing in the right spot. But there's one last little thing you do after you complete the fight. So he could have opened his eye on that cycle, but he did not. I missed there, so I'm in a little bit of danger. I need 2 more shots. Alright. So, once you're this far, you can line up in either one of these corners, this one or that one over there. And once you're done going through this dialogue, you hold up right, and then once you reach the top of the fish on the floor, you hold right. And if you're on the opposite side, you can just hold up left. And then you'll reach the stairs. And then time ends when the screen turns white. And that is Link's Awakening DX any percent bow route. Again, the strategies in this video compared to the older one are a lot more difficult and only the slightest bit faster. I'd say from the last tutorial, you'd save maybe 2 seconds total with the things I showed you. But yeah, that's the run. That's all the fastest strats you could use. And I hope that was helpful. So again, it's Riddler signing off.